Well, I would say the majority of people on the earth pretty much live out their entire lives not too far from where they are born. And there are others like me who travel all over God's earth, living here, living there, living a little bit of everywhere. Yeah, would you agree? She agrees. But one thing that we see today that is only getting worse is this nation is, and not just our nation, it's in other nations as well, there's a division. There's people that are for immigration or migration. There's two different things there. And there are people that are not, that are dead against it. And I guess it depends where you live and what you think about certain people. Now, one thing I have discovered in my travels, just here in the United States, we're only talking about the lower 48 that I've traveled here in the United States. It doesn't matter where you go, what state, if you go north, east, west, or south, every single place you go is different. The people are different. You have different nationalities of people in these places. When I first moved to Denver, I remember the first few days I'm driving around Denver, I'm like, is there any white people here? Because all I seen in Denver, and this would have been in 1997 when I first went there, all I seen in Denver was Hispanic people. To me, I had never been around that many Hispanic people. You could go to other places and be around black people. Some people have never grown up around other races. It depends where you go. There seems to be a more concentration of Hispanics out west. We're all just split up. And people tend to live with their own races. Most places I've ever been, you'll have neighborhoods that are white. You'll have neighborhoods that are black. You have Hispanic neighborhoods. People tend to stick with their own race. I don't know if that's good. I don't know if that's bad. I do know that different races are different. Yes, we all bleed red. We're all humans, but we have different traditions, different cultures. There are some differences. Whether that's good or bad, anybody's guess. And now we have something going on where people are very upset in the eastern part of the United States and in the south, or basically anywhere, because California people are leaving and they're moving into their area. And for some of those places, it has changed drastically. Now, I don't really care where anybody's from that moves around me, as long as they respect the way things are in that particular area. I didn't move to Minnesota to start talking to them about the South and trying to change them and getting them eating cornbread because, I didn't do that. I was in their neck of the woods, and I had to respect their ways. I didn't have to agree with them. I didn't have to eat what they ate. I didn't have to talk like they talk, thank God. But I had to respect where they lived. Now, I see a lot of people that are migrating from other states. They do not respect where they are moving to. And we see it on the news all the time. There are places that have flipped, that have been changed by excessive migration. Now, when I say migration, I'm talking about people that are living in the United States that relocate to another part of the United States. That is known as migration. Immigration is where they're fleeing over our border and residing in the United States. And here recently, there has been a whole lot of that. And there is people siding with both sides of that. Then there's people on the side that they don't like it. Now, if you grew up in a certain area, a certain town, and all of a sudden, 1,000 people from a foreign country, this has happened in Springfield, thousands of Haitians, I believe, or it was Haitians. maybe Somalians, one of the two, were relocated to this town. That would be a massive culture shock for both sides. What you see, and I have been to towns like this. I was at one of Minnesota has a very huge Somali population. I have not had good experiences with those people. Okay, they are very rude. They have taken over the entire taxi cab industry. You try to get a taxi up there, if you tell them you want to go to a bar or a liquor store, they won't take you most of the time. They won't take you because they're Muslim and they don't believe in that. I'm like, look, Mac, you're in my country working a job and you're not going to take me where I want to go? It is that way because they allow it up there. They allow people to immigrate, not migrate, immigrate and change their culture. I've seen it, I witnessed it, was up there many years, and now we see the result of that. We see the results of that. There are places I've lived where you have a little bit of everything. A little bit of Hispanic people, a little bit of black people, a little bit of Asian people, a little bit of white people, and everybody seems to live in harmony. And those are becoming few and far between anymore. It's pretty much political sides now, race against race, and it's not going to get any better. It's never going to change. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but none of this is ever going to get better. It's only going to get worse. And you have to understand some of these people, let's just use, I'm not just picking on California, but I mean, they're moving from Texas, they're moving from New York, they're moving from all kinds of states. They don't like the politics up there, and some of them, I can't blame them. But when somebody from California, say somebody from California moves here, right off the bat, we're going to start thinking, yep, they're going to vote against us on everything we do. They're going to try to change our town. And this happens. I can always tell. I see it in Facebook. Somebody new comes to town and they start complaining. There's a little Facebook page for the town that's near me, and you'll see them. I've never seen their names. It's a small enough town, and I worked in that town, so I know most of the people's names. Not all of them, but they're from somewhere else. They start asking questions. How do we fix this? Why is there so many loose dogs running around? Things that people that have just moved here will say. And how can they get this fixed? You can't move to another area. It doesn't matter how bad it is. You decided to move there, and you're going to move there and start trying to change things. It doesn't work that way. And so the people that are here are going to resent you right from the start. And it happens a lot. And yes, and then there are the ones that want to move here or anywhere else, and they just blend in with everybody else. They immediately get their out-of-state plates off their vehicle, tag their vehicle, and they do fine. But you will have the occasional troublemakers that migrate and instigate. That's what I like to call it. Migrate to instigate. They want things just the way they were, where they came from. Not all of them, but there are some. I call them permanent HOA presidents. Yeah, they want to move somewhere rural and have things like that. And we don't like that. I have no problem with anybody moving here from anywhere in the globe, as long as they respect the way I live. They respect the area I live. They don't throw McDonald's bags all over the street, litter, burn plastics and trash, and do anything they please. If they don't do those things, we respect them. We may not like them. We don't have to like everybody we meet, but we will respect them. Respect and liking somebody is two different things. You don't have to like somebody to respect them. But if you move in, you start trying to change the rules in the game, you're not going to get respect. In fact, you're going to get run out of town most likely. That's the way it is in some places, especially in the South. They don't take kindly to that. But it is happening. It is happening. It's going to continue to happen. And one of the reasons why is our population is just growing. Okay, population has always grown. And as the population grows, you're going to have more people in these areas. These small towns are going to become small cities. These small cities are going to become bigger cities, metropolises. All the suburbs, where I grew up in Oklahoma, Tulsa, it's all one big city now. There were suburbs. Now the suburbs are all molded into one big area. And I just don't like going there anymore. I can't stand driving around. I don't recognize it. There's so many people that have migrated from up north and out west, and it's just changed the entire landscape. Shopping centers everywhere. Who wants to see that? But that's the world we live in now. I don't know what the cure is. Apparently the government has no way, they have no clue either. We just got to learn how to live with each other better and respect the land as well. You don't move in somewhere and start cutting down 7,000 trees and putting up condos. That is one way that, nobody wants to see that. And you're going to be seeing more of that because, as I said, the population is growing, but you're getting a certain type of people that have no respect for nature, they have no respect for other human beings, they have no respect for culture. I don't personally care what color anybody is. As long as you respect the way I live, I will respect the way you live. As long as it keeps the peace, okay? That doesn't mean build a cabin next to me and play loud music all day. We're going to have a problem. And I guarantee you, you ain't winning that battle. That sounded pretty tough right there, didn't it? Well, that's the way I'd be. You got to be sounding like that when you're an old man. But it's only going to get, you're going to see this increase with the migration especially. And for the life of me, I can't see why people are out protesting about the government rounding up the illegals and getting them out of here. We need to do that. We have to maintain control of our borders. We have to maintain control of our country. We got enough trouble as it is with just the people that were already here. We don't need to add to that. And yet there's people, we've seen these people. They're wearing the costumes and the blue hair and the nose rings, out there, and the man purses and all that. We see them out there protesting. They're not going to win. I guarantee you they're not going to win. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I understand the need sometimes to have to pick up and move, especially across country. I did that with my job for years. But I always respected anywhere I went. And everywhere you go is different. I mean, I went to South Florida. That place is different. That's like being in New York City, down there by Fort Lauderdale, Miami Beach, Miami. You get all kinds down there. People from everywhere. A lot of different Caribbean countries are there. People from all over the world. And then you can go to a place like Nebraska. Nobody ever leaves Nebraska. Nobody ever moves to Nebraska. Kansas, same way. Wyoming, same way. You're not getting a lot of migration there. Actually, Wyoming and Montana are starting to get a lot of that, and they're having troubles. They're having a lot of troubles because people will migrate to a certain area and overrun it, where there's no housing. And another problem is they're buying these houses up and turning them into bed and breakfasts. And so that limits the housing. And I don't know what the answer is, guys, but you just, find your little special place in like I got, and you can't ignore these things. You can't, because, every time I have to go to the city, I see a little bit more of it. A little bit more has changed. Fort Smith is an hour from me. Buildings are going up like crazy. I've seen this happen before. And before you know it, it's one big area, one big shopping center. And I hate seeing that, because that town has remained the same for all my life. And now it's changing. And it isn't the only small city that is changing. They are all changing. So we have to figure something out. Thanks for watching. Happy trails.